we're a nation of laws, and there's only one body in our system that can make the laws, and that is the people, who then elect through their personalities, the personalities in public office. And so the Congress is the only one that can make the law. Therefore, the president has no choice but to enforce it and to obey it like any other American. The 3 points I want to bring to this plan that I'm suggesting that is guaranteed, and I really want to say that, it's guaranteed to work, to end a war by Labor Day and to have our troops home, all of our troops home by Christmas. All right. Let me explain why I can say it's guaranteed. Now, as you know, I had in my career the opportunity to wage a number of filibusters. I waged a filibuster for 5 months to force the end of the draft. And I'm very proud of that. But let me say, it took an unusual commitment because nobody likes to anger your peers. And the plan that I'm suggesting is going to anger some members of Congress. I have devised a very tough law. It's a withdrawal act. And this tough law clearly says that if the President, the Vice President, the Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of Treasury fail to obey this law, they commit a felony, and the penalty for committing this felony is 5 years in jail without the possibility of parole. We really want to get their attention. Now, how do we get this law passed? And we can get it passed. Forget the resolutions. You start by, one, introducing it, and we can get it passed in the House. Now, you know and I know the Senate is going to filibuster. Let them. But then what you do, and this is where the tactic becomes tough for Speaker Reid. Now, the problem that Speaker Reid had, and Leader Reid and Speaker Pelosi, is very straightforward. They acquire those positions by accommodating the members of their body. What I'm asking them to do is to stop the accommodation and get tough with the body.
Yeah.
And how they do this, starting in the Senate, is you have a cloture vote, because obviously they're going to start filibustering. You have a cloture vote on noon, and that's only a half-hour vote, mind you. And then the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, at noon, every single day, because we want to let the American people know what's going on. And it takes them time to learn, absorb, react. And that's why the repeated votes, because the American people will react to their elected officials and force them to bring about cloture. If it, my guesstimate would be less than 20 days, we'll have cloture in the Senate. Now the bill goes to the President. The President will veto it, obviously. It comes back. Now the question is to override the veto. That takes 2/3 in the House, 2/3 in the Senate. And what I'm recommending is Speaker Pelosi and Leader Reid bring it up at noon every single day until they get the votes to override George Bush's veto.
Yeah.
And it will happen. So, now, mind you, now it gets tough. 7 days a week. 7 days a week, and no vacations. Now, you remember the American leadership saying, oh, we're horrified that these people in Iraq were going to take a 2-month summer vacation. Well, what about we've been taking our vacations regularly this year. Well, let's stop that. Let's have the leadership say, you're in session 7 days a week. Now, people say, well, this is going to, they won't be able to do their work. In fact, quite the contrary. These votes are only a half-hour a day. They're going to have a lot of time on Saturdays and Sundays and vacations to deal with immigration, to deal with a whole host of other issues. For once, they'll be earning their pay. But the reason why this has to be so tough, so severe, is as I speak, human beings are losing their lives because we're not doing the right thing. Americans are being killed and maimed, and Iraqis are dying as I speak because of what we've done with George Bush's war. And the only way to end it is with tough legislation, tough tactics, and I promise you, if they follow these tactics, by Labor Day, it's all over, and you'll spend the next 120 days doing pizza. Let me just open it up for questions and answers at this point, and We'll see if I can respond to your questions.